Solomon was providing nuggets of wisdom that I believe every single human being needs to grasp, because it's going to affect some part of your life. And one thing I love about the Proverbs is that they're so real and practical. We're actually taking the time to go through this first chapter of Proverbs and look at what Solomon was actually dealing with and what he was talking to us about and how it affects our lives in very specific ways. But this is part of the things that are in our foundation that causes these earthquakes. Woo! Where the break occurs is called a fault. So you think about the area in your life. Some of you, it may not be finances. It could be only you know within your heart what that area is that causes you to snap. But when that snap occurs, it's an earthquake. And I discovered that there's at least 3 types of stresses in the Earth's crust. There's 3. And we'll probably won't be able to get to them all this week. But I'll at least tell you what they are. I'll describe to you what they are. And then next week, we're going to get into the meaning of each one of these 3 types of stresses that are on everybody. Is that a good place to go, babe? Got my wife's approval. All right. And they are tension, compression, and shearing. Tension, compression, and shearing. These are the 3 pressures that are on every single person. Every single person is under these 3 types of pressures. I'll just show them to you real quick, give you the definition. These are the details. So I'll tell you all about that later. Tension. See, those pictures give you what each one looks like. Tension, being torn apart between right and wrong. That's basically the tension. We're all under tension. Tension, the force that pulls a rock or a foundation or a person apart, forcing opposite sides away from each other. It's the pressure of being torn between right and wrong. Aren't we all under that pressure? Everybody, all the time. All right, now I'll skip down to the next one. See all the things we're going to have so much fun with talking about? Then there's compression. I don't know if you can see this picture really good, but this is the world, but it's in between these 2 gears being squeezed. And all of us are under compressions. Compressions is the squeezing or the crushing effects of life. Sometimes the stress on our life is not necessarily direct enticement to sinful behavior. We're not being pulled between right and wrong, but it's just the responses to life itself. The pressures of everyday life. Woo! Isn't it amazing? Amen. And then the third one that we will talk about. So y'all getting a quick view. I'm trying to go fast so you can't see those too quick. Y'all fast, y'all reading fast. And then the final one is shearing. Shearing is violent glances of opposite forces against each other, causing torn areas and breaks. Many of us are not only broken because of the tension of the flesh and the compression of life, but we have been seriously damaged due to violent encounters in life. The result of shearing are that parts and pieces are torn off. This is a picture of a person with a sledgehammer hitting up against a wall. Some of us have had sledgehammer-like experiences in our life. Some type of violent thing. The result of shearing are that parts and pieces are torn off of us. There is damage that is defacing, and there's destruction. Shearing is the result of direct conflict and confrontation. Anybody had conflict and confrontation in your life? Believe me, when that moment came, just like that person hitting that wall, something was torn off of you. And you and I are still living with those broken pieces, those shattered pieces. So that's what we're going to be talking about starting next week. We're going to talk about all 3 of those in detail. So stay tuned. Amen. I'll say that to the folks watching online. Stay tuned next week. I sound like a TV program. Continue to be continued next week. Because you know why this is important? I know I said a lot to the guys today, but you know why this is so important? Because I feel like through the years, and this is not to put down any other pastors, any other ministries, but we feel like sometimes the emphasis is put so much upon the actions and the deeds of sin that if you fail to understand the reasons why, and it's not giving people an excuse for sin when I talk about the reasons why, what I'm talking about is when you really get into what was really happening in the soul of a person. You're talking about a person that's just those three things I described. They've been under tension, there's been compression, and they've had shearing. So now they've got these cracks. So now the slightest little pressure that comes to that area, they cave in. They break. There is a response.